Welcome to Level Up Tribes. Level Up Tribes provides resources to help you attain the necessary resources to level up your mind, body, and soul and realize your full potential. It is about exploring, learning, providing you with the tools from the experts for you to create a better version of yourself. I am your host, AgnesGoodwine, and welcome, Tribes. Hello, my beautiful tribe community. I hope everyone is safe and healthy as we travel through these uncharted waters. The last episode and the next few episodes coming up will cover different topics that I hope could help you with your mental health, spiritual health, and financial health. We are all in this together. Remember that we are resilient people, and as long as we all follow the guidelines set forth, take care of our immune system by finding time for prayer, meditation, exercise, reflecting, and adjusting as needed, all will be well. And so it is, beloveds. With that being said, on today's episode, Western astrologer Sonja Marie of Word Life Astrology joins us to teach us everything we need to know about astrology and how we can apply it to our daily lives. She is the horoscope columnist for Essencemagazine. She's a poet, a writer, and her musical work has been featured on the multiplatinum soundtrack Waiting to Exhale, and has worked closely with musical icons like Teena Marie and many others. This was a fun episode, and I can't wait until you meet this beautiful, soulful, funny, and down-to-earth human whose passion is to encourage people to be responsible for their choices based on personality and purpose. Let's dive in.
How are you today, beautiful?
I'm good. I feel a little under the weather.
Okay.
But I'm not claiming it.
That's right. You're good.
Know? Yeah.
You're good. I mean, and you mean talking about the Rona? Fuck the Rona. No.
You know, when you get that little itch in your throat, you're like,
I know.
Wait a minute. And I'm still reporting back and forth to work too. So.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You know what? I have to remind myself too, and tell everybody else, we are still in like the spring, like, so reactions to allergies and all kind of changes are happening too, right, with the season, you know, so it's very, and the fact that there's not a lot of pollution. A lot of things are changing in the air, don't you think?
Yes.
Like nature is really like,
yeah. I mean, it's dusty here. I mean, I'm in Phoenix.
Oh, I was about to say, where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Phoenix. You're in California, right?
Yeah, in Los Angeles, right next to LAX, by the way. Not too far from the airport. Mm-hmm.
Well, before we get deep into it, welcome to Level Up Tribes podcast. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. And I wanted to tell you, I manifested this.
Did you?
I sure did.
How so? Let me
because I listen to you on YouTube, and I normally listen to you. I have a long commute to work. And so I was driving home, and I just think you're so funny. And and I normally listen to other astrologers, but when I stumble upon you and your YouTube page, I'm like, wait a minute. She's talking about ancestors, and she's going like deep into like spirituality and healing. So that's when I got real deep into your YouTube channel. And listen to it weekly. And so I'm driving home, and you were on a rant. I don't know what was going on that week.
I do that.
Yeah, right. And you were like, yes. And I'm like in the car, like, driving. And I'm like, she reminds me of someone from like my younger days, in the barrio, just hanging out. You just got that soulful, authentic self. It comes through the audio. So I'm like, I would love to talk to her one day. And then after all this stuff happened, I'm going to reach out to her and just put it out there. So thank you so much for accepting it.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, I felt you too. There are people who reach out and, like the initial kind of meeting, you're like, because energetically it's not connecting, or it's not right in that time,
Right.
But I went on your website, and I like what you are promoting. And I love the diversity. I mean, it's all wellness, but I like the diversity in the people and the
Yes.
perspectives. I thought that was really, really dope. I mean, I'm down for my folks, but at the same time, it's always good to have a collective um, vision or perspective and things. So, you
Yes.
know, bless you. So we can all, see from different angles and get better. So
Right. Right.
anyway, but thank you. I
No,
appreciate it.
thank you. So let's dive in. I just want to know how all of this started for you. Because I know you're from Yonkers,
I
and so
am.
I want to start there. Like, how did this all come about to you?
Well, kind of in sections, to be quite honest with you. First and foremost, my mom, in regards to astrology, my mom used to get those little scrolls from the Star Scroll vending machines back in the 70s. I'm dating myself. I will be 50 this year. But in any case, so we used to read those Star Scrolls like every month. Thought it was just fascinating. It was definitely used as entertainment. And I think it was just a way for my mom and I to bond. At the same time, no, I didn't know if this is what it was, but I also developed the knack or the gift to see. Like I would literally see ancestors and guides in the corner, or would sense somebody on my neck, and it kind of bugged me out. Or I would hear my mom and her friends talk about certain people in the building, and all of a sudden I would hear, because they have a boyfriend, and then I'll go, because they have a boyfriend. And next thing you know, what are you talking about? I get a backhand up against my mouth because I was saying some stuff I wasn't supposed to know.
Right.
In any case, over the years, as you go into your young 20s and those rebellious stages, and you just want to smoke weed and hang out, those voices just started to either dissipate, or probably in combination of both, I would push it aside because I didn't want that responsibility, right? Astrology was always there, but I always looked at it as a hobby, like what I started it off to be. And then over the last 15 years or so, maybe a little bit, maybe 20 years, I heard that I needed to combine my love of astrology with this gift that wasn't really going to go away, truthfully. I mean, I really believe, truthfully, Agnes, that we all have the ability to be super duper intuitive. We all are intuitive.
Yeah.
I equate it to like a window. Like we all can open up this window. It's literally our choice. Some people would rather it be cracked because they don't want the responsibility of that information coming through.
Yes.
Some people willingly open the whole window and they hear everything and see everything in their own way. And I chose, after a while of my rebellious stage, and realized that I needed to be more of service, right? In whatever way I could, other than being an artist and being a poet and performing and those things that I wanted to assist, so that's when it came back in a sense, and that's when I accepted it. So I always say this, use astrology as a front. It's almost like it's the way to get people in the door, in a sense. I love astrology, but there are, and I know a lot about astrology, but there are a lot of astrologers that know more of the science than I do, like breaking it down geometrically and mathematically. Yes. Which is all said, it's all good, but that's not me. Like, that's not my brain. You know what I mean? Yes. Like, I can't compute like that. It bugs me out. So I'm more intuitive with it. I get them in to sit down across from me or talk to them on the phone as an astrology client, but their ancestors come, their guides come. They point the direction to where I need to talk to in regards to their chart, to highlight a particular part of their natal chart, and then go even further, deeper into that, based on what they say. So that's kind of the beginning and the end story of it all. And I just feel incredibly honored, to be quite truthful with you, to be entrusted with this process, because it does go deep, and it is emotionally burdensome.
That's what's going to be my next question. Do you get exhausted? Because when you're that intuitive and have that empath ability, you're always on.
Yes and no. Like, I have a way of turning it off. Like, and truthfully, Spirit and our guides and our ancestors, they're not bodacious in that way. They're like, nah, they don't like want to bogart your existence all day. I truly believe that we can control that in a sense. We can tell them, okay, look, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk to such and such and such, and then y'all need to roll. Like, I don't. And 90% of the time they do. Sometimes I'll sit there and I'll see somebody and I'll be like, hey, not today. Like, I'm good, you know?
Okay.
And then sometimes they're bullies and they're like, no, they need to hear this right now. And then I just say what I need to say and keep it moving. But for the most part, they don't take over. However, even the process of the 90-minute read or an hour-minute read in which people purchase, that's when all the emotions, that's when the window is wide open. And that's what makes me tired, because then I have to shut down afterwards and clean it off, so to speak. And I'm a Cancer, so I emotionally take on everybody anyway. Like, my heart goes out to everybody. So that part of it is exhausting. And then there's another part of it too, in which I'd like to share with you. It's just me being me in my everyday life. Because I'm so on most of the time, I see truth behind what people say. And because I'm so Yonkers and I'm just real like that, I'll call it out, and not everybody is really ready for that.
Yes.
So that's bothersome too, because oftentimes I can't hold it back. I have to leave. I have to go, I'll be back, or I don't think I can come to that party because there's a lot of people there that I already know that are not willing to engage in depth, like, superficiality is necessary at times. We don't always have to be deep, but there's way too much going on in the world, Agnes, for us not to be deep. Exactly. You understand what I'm saying? Exactly. Like, that's that 80s mentality. You can, you can get high and sniff coke on Saturday night and then go to church on Sunday and be all right with it. Like, that duality is cool back then. Not today, baby.
Right. I was talking to a few of my teachers who are healers, and most of them, what I've been hearing from them is that this is the time to go inward. And you being a healer yourself and being so intuitive and bringing in the astrology aspect of it, is that what's going on right now? Like, is this a time where we just need to kind of like reflect? What do you think is going on?
Well, yes, to answer your question. A blatant yes, but there's also layers to it too, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the layers that I like to highlight, just for the sake of time, is this thing that we're going through, is astrologically speaking, has started like around 2008, 2009. And I don't know if you and your listeners remember that time, but that was the time when the real estate market freaking bottomed out, People were getting divorced and dying out of nowhere. Like, it was just interesting. It was a time too where the first time I really like snapped into the fact that Black and brown people were committing suicide. I was like, wait, hold on. Like, we never do that. And I'm not saying that it's a racial thing. So you understand where I'm coming from.
Yes.
I'm coming from the space of the definite need to be out, to end something. I'm consumed with whatever is going on and I just want to go. That's just not in our makeup, and when that started happening, I'm like, there's a lot of bottoming out that's happening right now. Why? Pluto, the planet of destruction, transformation, rebirth, death, power, went into the sign of Capricorn around about 2008, 2009. I don't know specifically, but around that time, right?
Okay.
Capricorn is a sign of tradition. It's a sign of rules, of discipline. So if Pluto is in that particular sign, that means Pluto is dismantling everything that Capricorn stands for. So we started to see structures fall. We started to see the emergence in a big way of white supremacy. Why? Because that's been around for forever.
Right. And
Pluto says, nah, I'm cool. Like, we're not doing that no more. Pluto just comes in like the Tasmanian devil and just whips shit up and just like, nah, we're gonna get rid of that just because, right?
Right.
So all of a sudden you see this happening. Again, structures are falling down in our government and also within ourselves, right? Divorce and houses being lost, whatever the case may be, whatever your story is. And then along the ride up until 2020, Saturn, the planet of hardships, lessons learned, challenges, fear, went into Capricorn too. So now Pluto got a buddy. Not that it needs it, but now Saturn comes in the mix and is like, yeah, what you doing? I'm destroying shit. And Saturn's like, all right, well, while you destroy stuff, let me expose people's fears. Let me expose let me tell them where they're lacking. Let me show them where they're lacking. Let me show them their lack of discipline, their lack of limitations. And you understand what I'm saying? You know where I'm going?
Yeah.
So them rolling, ball busting side by side together is the Rona. And the reason why I say that, and it brings us inward prayerfully, if you don't freak out.
Yes.
It brings us inward because you can't hold on to nothing else. Because Pluto is destroying stuff and Saturn is calling you out. So at the end of the day, if everything is leaving and you can't hold on to any excuses, you have no other place to go but inside.
Yes. Yes.
That's the longer of the short answer.
So what can we do in the meantime? Because for myself, like I find myself in this roller coaster. I have good days and I have bad days, right? And I'm a Virgo. I need order. If things are not in order and I don't have a plan, anxiety is like on high. Yeah. So what do you recommend?
First of all, that answer is different for everybody else. Everybody's fair. Yeah, because of our astrological makeup, because of our history, because of what we deem to be important versus what we don't. Everybody, that answer is different for everybody. I have to really say that. Secondly, I want to say be easy on yourself, because it's a time, like I just explained, where everything is being broken down and it's falling apart. Everything that we know to be true, Agnes, is leaving. That's not easy.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a Virgo, especially if you're an earth sign, a very practical person, Capricorn or Taurus, that's usually into structure and logic, analyzing. But every sign has its thing, basically, right? But just speaking to you, that's a big deal, because if I know what it is that I'm about to do, at least I can prepare for that. Right. This is the consummate unknown. Nobody knows what the heck is going on. And then we have a very brilliant president in place that knows everything and we'll be fine.
Right. That's another episode.
Oh, goodness gracious, it is. So it's completely unknown. And so the third part of that goes back to your preceding question.
Right.
Previous question is to go inside and figure out, in my opinion, what are the things that you've been trying to do for a really long time? What are the things that you've been fearing for a really long time? If God said you had to leave tomorrow, what would you do? Who would you talk to? And I know this sounds like doomsday, but it's not, because in actuality, everything needs to die in order to be reborn. And we're at a space in which after this situation, we won't be the same. Yeah. So who do you want to be in the new life, in the new space, over the horizon of this situation? That's the real question. And everybody's answer is different. And how you get to that is different. But yeah, the first thing is to go inside. And this, in my opinion, the second thing is just to be as peaceful as possible, because that's how we get the answers.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Is by being quiet as much as you can. Because we are human, right? And it is going to take us out every now and again. I did an IG live last week about vulnerability, because I recognize that even on top of the fact that we don't know what's going on, our shadow sides are coming up. On a very personal level, we're locked in the house and we don't have work outside of this home to distract us. You know what I mean? We don't have errands to distract us. You know, we don't have going to take care of our elderly aunties and grandfathers to distract us. And although those are things that need to be done, they are distractions from doing what we know to be true for ourselves. Oof. So when that happens, we get stuck in a space in which our shadow sides start to come up. And they go, hey, you've been in the house for about 13 days. What you gonna do about that broke ass attitude you have? Like, it's like, first of all, who's talking? Who's that? You know what I mean? It's like, God damn it. But you have to face that.
Yes.
You have to face that. And it's cute to say go inside, but when that chick looks like a monster, that's hard to deal with.
Right.
So again, it's about being patient with your own development.
Yes.
But concentrating on getting through it the best way you know how. I know that's ambiguous, but that's really all I got. Because again, everybody's story looks different. Just don't be afraid to see what you need to see and change what you need to change.
Right.
Because it's going to be over. Everything changes. Change is very constant.
Yes. You know, it's funny you said that about the darker shadow side. Mine was actually finance. That's what actually came out of this. So there's, you know, some stuff that I got to work on in regards to that area, which is good. Yeah.
Because after a while, if you're using it as a distraction, you can be like, oh, where'd that $200 go? Oh, don't worry about it. Now you got to sit there and look at it like, I haven't gone anywhere.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I know. So yeah, so finance is big. So some homework in that area.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, how did you get connected with the Essence magazine as the weekly horoscope columnist?
It's a monthly situation, and right now it's actually every other month. What I mean by that is like they're doing double issues now.
Okay.
So it's 2 months in one magazine. But in any case, it's just one of them situations where the manifestation of it all. It's like something that I wanted to do. And I said to myself, I'm a writer and I'm an astrologer. I should be writing for Essence.
It was that easy, huh?
I mean, my conversation with God was like, why don't I do that? Like, why can't I do that? What's the deal? So a friend of mine, a childhood friend of mine, used to be the beauty consultant for Essence. And I shot her a message and she never hit me back. I mean, for a good year. And I was like, okay, maybe that's not what I'm supposed to do. And then I was on Facebook one day, again, intuition. And I see her name pop up and Spirit said, now. And I got into my ego and was like, she didn't respond to me last time. I straight got into my ego. And Spirit said, I said now. So when I hit her back, I did. I listened. She hit me back straight away with a contact. And literally, because they were moving out their astrologer, I hit them right at the exact time. Like they needed to get rid of one and to bring one in. And I was the first and the only person to really acknowledge it, or I should say, be in the queue for that to happen. Contact a woman named Grace White. She's really dope. And they put me on, and it's been about 6 years now.
Okay.
But what's interesting is that I don't get a lot of business from Essence.
No?
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Like you would think, because they have over 5 million subscribers and they're worldwide. And the reason why I say like that is because when I do readings, no one refers to, oh, I saw you in Essence, I use 90% of my business, and I'm moving pretty. I'm pretty not well to do, but I'm okay.
From YouTube? Is it from YouTube?
YouTube, word of mouth. Yeah. I think the publication and the population at large still looks at astrology as entertainment.
Yes, I agree with you.
You know what I mean? The taboo on it is like, it can't be spiritual, in quotes. It can't help you in any way. It's just cute to tell you, if you'll make some money next week. Or if your husband,
Well, that's what makes you unique. Like I said before, when we first started, I listened to a lot of astrologists. That's how I start my week off on Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
And with you go deep into that spirituality. The ancestor got me, because 2 years ago I started having an altar and just, praying with my ancestors and asking them for guidance. It has changed my life completely
Yeah, I believe it.
since doing that. And so when I heard that, I'm like, oh, she's different. She's in a whole different column than the other astrologers, because you, like you said, they talk about the science part of it, but I don't want to know that. I want to know how I can go inner and how can I get connected within my roots, and so that's what makes you unique.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And honestly, that's my mission, because I believe that we need, first of all, to regain our own power through the modalities and the tools that were given to us from the beginning of time, Agnes.
Yeah.
Like straight up. Like before there was religion, there was astrology. Before there was people, humans walking the planet, there were the stars. And something in God's universe needed to guide us. So especially in the book that I'm writing called The Signs, I am doing my best, and it's about to come out real soon. I am doing my best to show people the as above, so below concept of it all. That astrology literally exists in front of us. Like we are all reflecting it. You know what I mean? It's not just about, the way out stars and how ethereal it is and separate from us, or the entertainment of it all. No, it's actually whatever you see around me is indicative of the stars. The fact that I have a predominance of red in my apartment is because I have Leo rising. That makes sense? Fire. I need to have fire around me in order to reflect who I am. That's just one small example. So who we are, how we relate to the planets and to the universe is definitely who we are, in our children and in our spouses. So I am doing my best to intertwine that so we can remember we are all as one.
Keep it up. It needs to be said.
Thank you. It's an interesting road, truthfully.
Yes.
Because of, again, the entertainment value on it, because of the fact I did a workshop once, Agnes, and this lady straight yelled out in the middle of the audience, "You're the devil." I was like, oh shit, I've been called a lot of things.
Oh my God. Well, I'm kind of the black sheep of the family. And so, because I grew up in a Christian household. And so it took a while for me to shift that from religion to spirituality, and now they understand. It took a while for my mom and my family to understand where I was going. So now they don't bring it up, but yeah, it was kind of like, what kind of devilish stuff is this? I'm like, it's an altar,
Right.
it has grandma on it.
Right.
What's good about that?
Which is so crazy because truthfully, there are a lot of spiritual concepts that are included in religious practices.
Yes.
In which a lot of religious practices will, again, shut down that fact because they want to take control. They want to be all powerful and all knowing, and you need to follow this ideology in order to go to heaven. It's really based on control and dividing and conquering. And sometimes they believe that maybe the spirituality is too ambiguous. Like somebody needs to lead. Well, in spirituality, we know it, just in a broad sense of the word, we have to lead ourselves. Yeah. There's no real way that I can be a part of a community in a productive way, in a loving and a kind way, if I don't know who I am.
Yes.
If I don't know who I am. So in religion, oftentimes, that's the piece that's missing. In religious practices, anyway. Not all of them, but some of them. We're following the dude or the woman at the pulpit. We're following this indoctrination of this Bible that has been tainted 1 billion times over.
Yes.
And I'm not saying there's no truth to it, because there is. But it's just been like, jacked up. Like, what's the real anymore?
Right. 100%.
And if we don't go back to, again, receiving that power within ourselves, then we're apt to do whatever for anybody. Like, and goddamn be machines in about 50 years. Not Sonja.
Exactly. I know. Not Agnes.
That's right. That's right.
Not Agnes. So I saw that you have a retreat in September in Sedona?
Yeah, this is our 3rd annual.
Have
you been to Sedona?
Oh, it's my favorite place in the whole world. I absolutely love it. It's only an hour from my house.
I was going to say it's really close to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely love that place. Right now, everything is kind of shut down. So hopefully by then it'll be open. But I was going to ask you, are you still taking in participants for that retreat?
Well, at this moment, it's sold out.
Okay.
However, usually around June and July, 1 or 2 people fall off because of, circumstances or whatever. Okay. And there's always an opening. That's if people, and people are definitely welcome to sign up, but that's if you can get all the money in at one time, and that's the factor, right?
Right.
It's, having to pay the facility. But yeah, it's going to be at Sedona Retreat.
Okay.
And it's by far, Sedona is like you said, one of my favorite places on the planet. But this particular facility is like a retreat in like a hotel kind of way, meaning like you have your separate rooms, double occupancy rooms, but there's no TV, there's no phone, it's clean, and it's just us. And this is the 3rd year that we're doing it, but every year that we've done it, we go in fast and hard. And what I mean by that is like the moment we meet, we have 3 days. So the moment we meet, like Sedona does, it takes the mask off of you. Yes. And the next thing you know, you are in your power or your mess or both. Yes. And you have to trust the people that are around you. In the last 2 years, it's been 40 people.
Oh, wow. So that's a big group.
That's a big number all over the country. People coming from all over the country. And I get so excited by it. It's the ultimate tribe building, the ultimate community building. Like you want to be able to get with your tribe and the people that kind of believe what you believe. And sometimes they're not next door. Right. Sometimes you have to put that net out and go, where are y'all? Because this world is crazy. And I need to know that somebody thinks the way I think, you know? But that's what we do.
So what would people get out of it when after the retreat?
We do astrology workshops.
Okay.
Led by myself, of course. Hikes, yoga classes. This is one woman named Kayona that does Ayurvedic workshops, Ayurvedic medicine. Mm-hmm. We also have pool parties.
Okay.
You have to have a pool party. So yeah, various different workshops and stuff like that, but mainly getting away and connecting with people, eating some really good food that they provide. Okay. And I'm trying to think of anything else.
So people can sign up to your newsletter on your website, and then they'll get notified for future retreats and events.
Absolutely. Go to wordlifeastrology.com and they can subscribe.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. What other services do you provide online?
Well, as you know, I have the YouTube channel. I'm also on IG. I do a lot of IG lives. I do readings, whether they be personal readings, like one-on-one readings, and you can schedule that via my website.
Okay.
But I also do couples reads.
What?
I love couples readings.
Okay.
Yeah. Given the birth time and date and place of birth of each person, you can put it on top of each other and see why people came together in the first place, how they highlight one another, how they get on each other's nerves, honestly, just the reason why they're connected. And I find them to be not only rewarding for them, but they're rewarding for me too. Like sometimes I feel like, God, I think I'm getting more out of this than they are. Because you see the connection and you see, and I'm so grateful that people trust me because you can see the unfolding of love, pure love, how couples really want to get it. You understand?
So 2 questions. What if you don't know the time of your birth?
That's a very good question. And there's a lot of people that do not know the time of their birth because they've adopted or they lost their paperwork. Astrology is built on the time because it allows you to get more specific information, right? However, if you don't have the time, I can always see where your planets are. I don't necessarily know where it falls into your particular life, but it's enough information to go on what signs the planets are in to have a reading for sure.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know the time that I was born. I always wanted to do that. Can you find out if your relationship is like karmic?
Oh, absolutely. It does show up in your chart.
Okay.
Usually the 12th house indicates that because so there's 12 houses in a particular chart, a lot like what this poster shows.
Okay, I see it.
Like it's breaking it up into 12 different pieces of the pie, so to speak, like a pizza pie. And then the 12th house is a karmic house, right? So oftentimes when you do a couples read, if people's planets or any asteroids fall into the 12th house, it's a karmic connection for sure. People come back. And karma can be, in quotes, good or bad. Like, I don't believe in good or bad, but if you want to like describe it as such, because you could either like come back and try to hurt somebody because they did you dirty in another space, and you don't know why, because you're like, what the hell? Or you just literally need to finish some things out, you know?
Wow. Do you believe in soul contracts?
I do. So like soulmates, so to speak?
No, that we spiritually, like we do a contract to what our life is going to be here.
Absolutely.
You do?
Yep.
So that's a thing.
That's I mean, in my opinion, it absolutely is a thing. I think that we're born into a world. First of all, astrology is like the blueprint of our personality. You dig? Our soul is our soul. It's our spirit. You know what I mean? And nothing is like our spirit. But every time we incarnate, this is my belief, every time we incarnate as a human being onto the planet, we take on a different outfit. And that outfit is your astrological chart. So if you and I are supposed to be nurses this time around, I'm going to be the nurse based on my chart, and you're going to be a nurse based on your chart. Does that make sense? But we still have the soul's connection to be a nurse. Now, the contract comes in place where we decide, okay, I'm going to do it in Yonkers. I'm going to do it in Yonkers. I'm going to be born to two parents who are not going to stay around for a little while. I'm maybe have one sibling, maybe not. Like, there's certain things in which you decide with spirit and with your angels and your guides. This is going to be your blueprint, and this is going to be your astrological makeup. Now, I do believe in co-creation too. How you rock that thing is based on you as well. Like, how you change it or turn it or stay on track is a big responsibility from your part.
Okay.
And I always use Manson in regards to this. I know it's weird, but Manson, as we know, turned out to be a cuckoo cat, right?
Yes.
However, the real purpose of who he is, because I looked up his chart, was that he was influential. He was persuading. Whether he did it for the good or the bad, whatever, that's what his soul's journey was about. He co-created that thing and switched the trajectory completely. You know what I mean?
I have I have a interview tomorrow and it's going to be on past life regression. And so it's something that really interests me about the soul contracts, because it's like, did I really pick all the shit, you know what I mean, that I've gone through in my life, you know what I mean? And why did I do it?
Because I believe, to answer that question, that the planet is the gym. This is where we work shit out. This is where we work it out. Otherwise, we can stay on the other side of this thing in straight paradise. Because when I do readings, Agnes, they are chilling. They're sliding down pink fucking mountains. They're drinking all day. They got block parties and barbecues for like, they're having fun. Like, you understand what I'm saying? There's no problems on the other side, right?
Yeah.
When we come here, our soul, based on our soul contract and everything else that we're doing, we come here to work it out, to develop where we need to go next. Does that make sense?
You mean like to go like in a higher spiritual level?
No, to work out our soul's incarnation. So our soul says, okay, you're such and such and such and such. However, when you go on the planet, you need to learn certain things in order to evolve to the next incarnation of being better. Does that make sense? You can't get better until you work stuff out here. in a particular sense. Let's just say being a partner. You know what I mean? In order to be a better partner, you got to go on the planet and you have to have the exercise. You have to go through it. You have to discipline yourself to be a better wife or a better husband. Then you die and you evolve into a situation. Now you're a better husband. And then your next soul contract is, okay, now you're going to go back down there and work out how to be a better father. You understand what I'm saying? Then you come back down with some other drama and some other situations, and when you work it out. That's why, to me, it's never personal, although it feels like that oftentimes, right?
Yes.
But it's not personal. This is just a journey in which we signed on to be a part. Unfortunately, we're like engulfed, or I should say, kind of stifled in this body. Mm-hmm. It only allows us to do so much. The brain only allows us to go but so far.
Yes.
There's ceilings to everything being a human.
Yes. Before we, wrap everything up for the interview.
Because we could probably talk for days.
Oh, yeah. I will talk to you till tomorrow. I'm a talker, girl.
I love it.
So, going back to the ancestors and the soul contract and us developing ourselves here, just to be a better human, right?
Yeah.
And we want to make connections with our ancestors. What if some of your ancestors were not good people? You know what I mean? Like, is it bad to not acknowledge them?
So to answer that question, yes. And I'm basing that on the premise that, like we just said, you have a contract and they had a contract and nothing is personal. They were doing their best, even if it looked butt nut crazy, when they were here to live out their contract. Sometimes they let the human part of them take over. Sometimes they become abusive. Sometimes they're downright mean. Sometimes they're evil, right? But they let a certain part of this existence, this planet, to take over their soul's journey. But when they leave, Agnes, they're not the person anymore. So when you are at your altar and you are addressing them, you're not addressing the person. You're addressing their soul. You're addressing the part of them that knew that they was on this journey, and they used you as a tool to get through their journey. Again, it's not personal. So the forgiveness comes in my opinion, and although it's hard, the forgiveness comes in knowing that it could have been you, it could have been me, it could have been the girl next door, it could have been anybody. You were just in the line of that, in the way of that, in the path of that. Because how about this? You're doing the same thing to somebody else. True. Whether you know it or not. Even if you're doing your best to be the best person that you can be, you hurt feelings too.
That's true.
You say stuff that you don't mean to say really in your heart, but you don't know how else to say it, so it just comes out and cuts people. Right. You know what I mean? We're all human. We're all trying to work it out. So if you leave next week, tomorrow, 50 years from now, you don't think somebody should forgive you for the shit that you did?
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Right.
Because you know that's
a good
not
point.
In your heart of hearts.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, thank you for that.
No problem.
I am so glad that we connected, and
Me
hopefully,
too.
I'm in Phoenix. Mi casa es tu casa.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you,
so always reach out. Anything else that you would like to add or share that we didn't discuss today?
No, not really. I just want people to just, in this moment in time, breathe.
Yeah.
Celebrate who they are by the little things that we have, and stay in the moment as much as you can, because we can't really set up for what's about to happen, right? And say in 3 months and 2 months, I'm not going to have a house. We don't know none of that. But we have a place to live right now. We have food in our mouths right now. Mm-hmm. We have someone to hug and someone to talk to and someone to love right now.
Yes.
Really, that's all Spirit wants us to believe in, is the now. And really give our reverence and our love and our respect up to God and to our angels and to our ancestors to take care of tomorrow. They got it. They got it. They brought us here, so they got it.
Yes.
They know what they're doing.
Okay. So where can people find you? Your social media, your website? Yeah. Can you give that out?
So again, my website is wordlifeastrology.com. On Instagram is Word Life Sonja Marie, and that's SonjaMarie. Facebook is Word Life Sonja Marie, and
Marie is my middle name.
Is it?
AgnesMarie.
AgnesMarie and Sonja Marie.
And so my family calls me Mari as a nickname. They took the E out.
Nice. It's so good meeting you. And third time was a charm, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. You take care of yourself.
You too, baby.
Stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you for all that love and knowledge that you give to the world. Thank you so much.
Absolutely my pleasure.
Yes. So take care.
You too, baby. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Please visit the website at www.leveluptribes.com. And please subscribe to the podcast and share with your family and friends. Be sure to tune in to our next episode. Catch you all next time, my beloved tribes.